This is a brief introduction into SIRS Discoverer database. As you can see, I'm here on the Research Database homepage, and the database that we're going to be looking at in this brief video is SIRS Discoverer. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the icon to open it. We are going to be looking at two ways that you can search in SIRS Discoverer. There are actually more than two, but there are two that you're going to be using for this assignment. The first way that we're going to be looking at is the leading issues. And you can see here where my mouse is. I'm going to click on leading issues. These are the leading issues that are included in SIRS Discover. All right, you'll see that several of the topics that you have for this assignment are included in this list. For my example, I'm going to click on video game violence. All right, the screen that loads, the layout and the information that is here would be identical no matter which one of those leading issue topics that you chose. So the first thing that we're going to see is a topic overview. It's very brief, but it's going to give you just kind of a sense of what's this topic about, what's the issue, why do people research this issue. You're going to see some terms to know, words that are going to frequently come up in the articles about this topic. Under essential questions, this is really kind of the question at the heart of it all. Do violent video games adversely affect children's behavior? Yes or no? And in each instance, you're going to see that there are two articles in support of that position. Now, you're not necessarily supporting a specific position, but answering some essential research questions. So you're going to be looking at these articles with that thought in mind. So let's take a look at an article in SIRS Discoverer. I'm going to go ahead and open this one that says Violent Video Games Linked to Aggressive Thoughts Behavior. This is what the article screen looks like in SIRS Discoverer. The top of the screen is always going to be the same. If you want to email the article to yourself, this is where you would do it. If you wanted to listen to the article, this is where you would listen to it. Again, it is kind of that computer sounding voice. It's not awful, but it's not the same as having a person read it to you as well. If you want to print an article in SIRS Discover, you click on the print icon and you're automatically prompted to print. So I'm going to just escape back out of that. This is the article, and you can see that it's not terribly long. Typically, the articles in SIRS Discover are not that lengthy. There is an MLA citation here that you can copy and paste. But again, it is important to double check, make sure that everything is capitalized as it should be, that there's not any incorrect formatting, punctuation, those kinds of things. So this is an article, and I'm going to go ahead and go back to my results page. And from here, I could look at additional articles. You're also going to be given anywhere from 3 to 5 additional articles that you might want to look at. So like here's this one, Are Violent Video Games a Threat to Society? You'll notice that the top layout is identical. Here's the article. This one has some visuals. All right, and our citation is here at the bottom. So just to kind of recap, I am looking at the pro-con leading issues. I could pick an entirely different pro-con leading issue, and I would be presented with the same basic format: a topic overview, important terms to know, essential questions, articles that support both sides of that essential question, and then some additional articles that I can look at as well. All right, so that is one way to search using SIRS Discoverer. The second way, I'm going to go back to the home page, and I'm going to click on the Advanced Search link. Okay, a couple things for you to notice. In Advanced Search, this is where I'm going to be able to use my Boolean search terms. Notice that the default is AND. I want you to think for a minute about why AND might be the default Boolean search term. Okay, besides AND, if I click on the down arrows, I have OR and I have NOT, and the same thing is true here, OR and NOT. So a couple of things to recognize that you can combine these. So maybe I need OR for my first two boxes and then I'm going to narrow it with my third search term. So you've got different options of how you can set up your search. You do not need to put search terms in all three of these search boxes, but if you are using Boolean searching strategies, you're definitely going to have to put search terms into the first two. Okay, a couple things I want you to notice over here. You have options of what's going to be searched. If you choose full text, that means the entire articles actually are going to be searched for whatever search term you put into this first box. If you choose title, that means only the title is going to be searched for your search term. Author, obviously you would be putting someone's name. Alright, so I'm going to demonstrate a couple different things. First, I'm just going to switch them all to full text. And for this example, I'm going to do tanning, because I know that's one of your subjects that you can choose from. I'm going to do teens, because again, you're looking at how this topic impacts teens. And dangers will help you answer one of your essential research questions. So I'm using and, full text, and now I'm going to click on search. Okay, so how do you read the results screen when you search this way? First thing we're going to do is look up here at the top. I have 16 total articles, and they are listed here below. However, this helps me sort them. 6 of them are newspapers, 8 of them are magazines, 1 of them is a reference book. So if I want to just look at the book source, I'm going to click on my reference link. And here is my book source, and it's really a topic overview is how they're treating it. Alright, so that's not going to necessarily be that useful to you. So let's go back to our results screen. Let's look at our magazines. Alright, now I have 8 magazine articles. One of the things that I want you to notice when you search this way is that you get a summary of each article. Really, really useful to take the time to read those summaries before you click on the article. Alright, because I'm looking at the first one and we're talking about banning someone younger than 14 from tanning salons. Doctor's permit. Okay, that sounds promising. But I hop down here and I see this one, new info, new dangers, and I start reading the description, and I really don't see anything about tanning. It doesn't mean that tanning's not mentioned somewhere in that article, but when I read this description, what it's telling me is that tanning is not the predominant topic of that article. It's probably not one I'm going to look at. So I'm going to take a look and I'm going to click on Beat the Tan. That's how you're going to access the articles from this screen. And again, what you are seeing is very similar to what we looked at when you came in with using those topics. So I have my article, all right, and I'm going to have my citation. All right, if that's not the article that I'm going to use or I'm done using it, I click on back. And now I see, should teens be banned from tanning beds? I'm going to take a look at this one. Oh, okay, so this one gives me some yes, this one gives me some no, and it also tells me that 28 states regulate access to tanning facilities for minors. That's a statistic, all right? That's something that can be useful to you in your article. I mean, in your in the argument that you're going to be put forth in your presentation. So here again is my citation. All right, so that was a search, and I'm going to go back. And I'm going to go back. I want to get back to my search. There we go. So I used tanning, teens, and danger. I used and as my Boolean search operators, and I had all of them looked for in the full text. Okay, I'm going to change this first one, and I'm going to say I want the word tanning to be in the title of my article. Think about if tanning is in the title of your article, how much more likely that the majority of that article is going to be about tanning. And again, I'm going to leave the rest of them the same, and I'm going to see how that impacts my search results. So I'm going to click search. Okay, I don't know if you remember, but when we searched last time, we had 16 total articles. Now we have 7, and we have 7 because we said that tanning had to be in our title. And if you look through our titles, you'll see now that tanning is in every one of them. If I took the time to read the summaries of each of these articles, I think that I would also find that all of the articles this time are truly about tanning. So I hope you can see that by constructing my Boolean search, having my key term only looked for in the title, I was able to narrow and focus my results even more than I did when I was looking for full text. All right, so hopefully you can see that in SIRS Discover, there are two ways that we can find information that will be helpful to us for this project. We can use the leading issues. If our leading issue is one of the topics covered, that's one way to get into information. Otherwise, we're going to click on the advanced search link, and we're going to use our Boolean search operators. And we might play around a little bit with whether we want our search terms searched for in the title of the article or in the full text. I think for this particular assignment, you're never going to want author because you're probably not going to have an author's name. Hopefully this gives you some ideas of how you can use SIRS Discoverer in your research.